All right, so we're diving straight into something pretty interesting from that LSU Sweet 16 game on Friday. You know, the one where they knocked out NC State 80-73?
Yeah, big win for sure.
Yeah.
But the win itself wasn't the only thing that had people talking over the weekend.
Right. There was that footage that started making the rounds online on Saturday, March 29th.
Yeah, uh-huh.
It showed this real quick interaction between LSU coach Kim Mulkey and star player Flau'jae Johnson.
Right, and it kind of left a lot of people scratching their heads.
So did you see this footage? I mean, what's your take on all the buzz online?
I did, yeah. And, it seems like everyone was kind of focused on how Mulkey reacted. I mean, you'd think after a win like that, especially in the Sweet 16, she'd be ecstatic, all smiles and hugs.
Yeah, for sure.
But the footage, well, it didn't really show that, Iraqi, did it?
Not really, no. It almost
Yeah.
felt like there was something else going on there, you know what I mean?
Exactly. It's that contrast that really jumps out at you. I mean, you've got this huge victory, everyone's hyped up, and then you see that moment, and it just feels different.
Yeah, it's like she didn't immediately launch into a celebration or anything.
Right, and people online definitely picked up on that. I mean, it looked like she was pretty serious, maybe even a little intense with Johnson.
So it wasn't just a quick, like, pat on the back or good job. It seemed like there was a little more to it.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's the intensity of the interaction,
Mm.
especially right after such a big win that makes it so interesting.
You know, it makes you think about what's going through a coach's mind in that moment right after a game like that.
Yeah, even after a big win, are they already thinking about the next game or, what they could have done better?
Exactly. You'd think it would be pure relief and congratulations, but maybe that coaching instinct just kicks right back in.
It could be. Yeah. Maybe she was giving Johnson some quick feedback or a debrief on something that happened in the game.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
I mean, in the heat of the moment, coaches are always thinking about those things. And sometimes, those conversations, even after a win, they look pretty intense to someone who's not part of the team.
Right. What looks surprising to us might be totally normal for them.
Exactly. And we also got to remember this was the Sweet 16. I mean, the pressure is unbelievable.
Yeah, for sure. The NCAA tournament is a whole other level of intensity.
Right. Every single moment is like under a microscope, every emotion is amplified. So a tiny little exchange can look totally different to someone watching from the outside.
That makes a lot of sense. So for you, what's the big takeaway here? It's not about saying Coach Mulkey did anything wrong or anything right.
Right. It's more about understanding how complex these situations are, especially when the stakes are so high.
And we only get to see these tiny little snippets, you know?
Exactly. And we're all trying to figure out what they mean, but we don't really have the full context. We don't know the whole story of their relationship or what just happened in that game.
So to sum it all up for our listeners, we saw LSU pull off this huge Sweet 16 win, but right after a quick clip of Coach Mulkey with Flau'jae Johnson went viral and got everyone talking online because it didn't look like the typical celebratory moment you'd expect.
And, it really shows you how powerful social media is these days. Something super short and maybe even meaningless can turn into this massive discussion.
This all leaves us with something interesting to think about. What do these little nonverbal moments really tell us? When we see coaches and players interacting in these high-pressure situations, like in college basketball, where every second matters and everyone's super emotional, how much can we actually read into those moments, especially when we don't have all the information? Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next Deep Dive.
See you then.